welcome tonight. Senator Ademola Adeleke sworn in as the 6th Executive Governor of Osho State, announces major executive directives including reversal of state name, freezing of state accounts, and setting up of panel to review appointments made by the immediate past administration after July the 17th. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, backs discovery of oil in northeast Nigeria. Says he is supportive of any endeavour aimed at improving the economic fortunes of the country. Troops of Operation Forest Sanity neutralized 4 bandits in Chikun local government area of Kaduna during attack on terrorist hideouts. And protesters take to the streets of China asking President Xi Jinping and the Community Party to resign after over the country's COVID restrictions blamed for the death of 10 in a fire accident. It's a new dawn in Osho State, southwest Nigeria, as Senator Ademola Adeleke was today sworn in as the 6th governor of the state alongside his deputy, Prince Kola Adewusi. During the well-attended ceremony at the Oshogbo Town City Stadium, the governor, who is well known for his dancing prowess, took his oath of office and allegiance to serve the people of the state, administered by State Chief Judge Justice Adekpele Ojo. And right after taking the oath, the governor announced some major directives which he promises to back up with appropriate executive orders. Some of the actions include the freezing of all the state accounts, reversal of the state's name to Osun State from the state of Osun, which was instituted by the Rauf Aregbesola administration, establishment of a panel to carry out an inventory and recover all government assets, establishment of a panel to review all appointments made by the immediate past administration after July the 17th, 2022. Governor Adeleke also assured the people of effective leadership and stewardship in the management of the affairs of the state by correcting what he describes as past injustices, prioritizing education, basic amenities and infrastructure, among others. The event had in attendance the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, his running mate Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, the party's national chairman Senator Iyorchia Ayu, Governors Udom Emmanuel, Aminu Tambuwal, Duori Diri, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, traditional rulers, among others. Also in attendance was his superstar cousin Davido, who is making his first public appearance after the loss of his son. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum has congratulated Senator Ademola Adeleke on his inauguration as governor of Osun State. Well, the forum says his mandate has all the signs of the love and prayers of the people as they pledge their unconditional support throughout his tenure. A statement by the forum reads in part, "Today, the path has been cleared and light of progress is shining on Osun State. It is now time for the people's governor to settle down to develop a roadmap for the rapid development of Osun State." They also assured Senator Adeleke of their advice and support as he's welcomed to the forum. Staying with politics, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, says contrary to reports in some sections of the media, he is in full support of the oil found in the northeastern part of the country. A statement by his campaign team says apart from his speech at his rally in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, on November the 23rd, the Labour Party presidential flag bearer did not grant any journalist an interview where he is quoted to be against the oil exploration in Boji and Gombe states. The campaign group also stated that Mr. Obi has not had the cause to make any reference to the oil found in the northeast at any time, as he is supportive of any endeavour aimed at improving the economic fortunes of Nigeria. The statement further adds that Mr. Obi has stated time and again that his plan for Nigeria's economic turnaround rests substantially on the vast lands of the north. More reactions are still trailing the impeachment of Gboyega Aribishogun as Speaker of Ekiti State House of Assembly, or this time from constitutional lawyer Mr. Femi Falano, who argues that the impeachment did not follow due process. Mr. Falano argued that the process of his removal did not follow the statutory requirements of 2/3 of the Assembly and says he would be taking up the case in a court of law. Mr. Falano was our guest earlier on our program, Sunday Politics.
You know, Honorable Gboyega Aribishogun was removed in Ekiti while he was in Abuja. No charges, no allegations were brought against him. So he was not given the right of fair hearing. Ditto for his 6 other colleagues who have been suspended. Under the rules of the House, you cannot suspend, you cannot impeach a speaker unless you have 2/3 majority of the members. Nobody has said that occurred in the House. Now, after our intervention, it did occur to the House members and their advisor, sorry, we had made a mistake. It was after our intervention that letters were now given to them, now accusing them, rather retrospectively, of frustrating the passage of the bill. How could the bill have been passed by Aribishogun? Because the very day he was elected by his colleagues, the House of Assembly complex was locked up by the Commissioner of Police on the instruction of somebody in that state, not the governor. Now, from our investigation, this guy decided to abuse us, the lawyers. And the guy was, the man who wrote the write-up was so irresponsible that he forgot that he was no longer in power.
So quickly, Mr. Falano, are you taking this up legally?
No, yes. I'm saying that they use the logo of the state to commit a criminal offense, because you can't use the logo of the state without the authorization of the government of the state. And that was what was done. A fake name was used together with the logo of the state.
All right.
To commit, a serious criminal offense. And we are taking it up so that there will be an end to such reckless illegality.
The nation shouldn't be unduly worried about security challenges facing it, especially in relation to the 2023 general elections, because a lot of work and synchronization of efforts is going on. That's according to the chairman of the Renaissance Development Forum, Alhaji Mohammed Hayatuddin. He told Channels Television's Ladia Keredulole on our current affairs program Newsnight that even though the threats, particularly to the nation's capital Abuja, remain real, both INEC and other stakeholders, including security agencies, are committed to ensuring a good exercise next year.
The terrorists are very smart, and they're busy 24/7, gathering, assimilating, and distilling and filtering information. There's no doubt about it. They know that this is high season for politics. They know that Abuja is a magnetic field. It stands to reason that as the security agencies run their various models, simulation exercises, it should have been I'm sure it was very obvious to them that Abuja will become a target. The Americans or the British could not have left without good reason. They must have left for good reason. And I'm sure that intelligence has been shared with Nigerians themselves. What encourages me are the following. Number one, the manner of voting this time has changed, giving very little room for the kind of shenaniganism that we had seen in the past. Number two, the security agencies have had a number of meetings where they actually run a different kinds of scenarios as to how security challenges are going to arise and how these are going to be managed and mitigated. Every time I open the 10 o'clock news on channels, hardly a night passes without me seeing Professor Mahmoud Yakubu with a deadpan face,
but we
very, very serious,
to the security
reading the Riot Act, not only to his own people, but to political parties. A lot of consultations are going in that front.
Of attacks during electioneering
and I think beyond that, there's also a lot of synchronization of efforts between the electoral empire and the various security agencies.
For the full interview with Alhaji Hayat today, and do watch Newsnight tomorrow, Monday, November the 28th at 9 p.m. right here on Channels Television. Meanwhile, the police is not about to take chances with any security threat to the elections, as the force headquarters has commenced the training of police officers on election security management. The training, which commenced in Kaduna State, is organized in collaboration with the Clean Foundation for Divisional Police Officers and Police Public Relations Officers from the Northwest Zone. It is aimed at improving the capacity of police officers across the Federation and how they will fully provide security before, during and after the elections.
Unarguably, the police, as a lead agency in internal security operations, occupies a very important position in ensuring the success of elections in the country through creation of a conducive atmosphere. It is against this background that the police headquarters, in collaboration with the Clean Foundation, has organized a 5-day capacity building training in Kaduna State for divisional police officers and police public relations officers from the Northwest Zone ahead of the 2023 general elections.
That we should engage.
Explaining the rationale behind the training, the Director of Program for Clean Foundation, Salahuddin Hashim, says the leadership of the Nigerian police force is mindful of its critical role in election security value chain and is conscious of the need to continually broaden the operational knowledge and capacity of officers and men to close the knowledge gap which could inhibit optimal delivery of security during elections.
2023 elections is going to come with a lot of digital electronic deployment, which means that the issue of cybersecurity for the first time will be playing prominence in our electioneering processes. And there is also going to be a suspicion about the participation of security agencies in the entire process.
The police remains the lead agency in internal security operations, so it is basically the responsibility of the police to ensure that a conducive environment is provided.
While the police, in some instances, have been accused of compromising election outcomes as against remaining neutral and professional, this workshop intends to expose these officers to the rudiments of election management and what is expected of them in terms of assessing security threats and remaining neutral in the discharge of their duties.
We expect our officers and DPOs to go back and impact the same knowledge on other people who have not been able to, who doesn't have the opportunity to be here.
Some of the expected outcomes from this training include appreciation of peculiar election security threats and specific approaches towards managing them at various stages of the electoral process, as well as understanding the current patterns of crimes and pathways to mitigating them.
In part 2, after the break, troops of Operation Forest Sanity neutralized 4 bandits in Chikun local government area of Kaduna during an attack on terrorist hideouts. Do join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Senator Ademola Adeleke sworn in as the 6th executive governor of Osun State, announces major executive directives including reversal of state name, freezing of state accounts, and setting up of a panel to review appointments made by the immediate past administration after July the 17th. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, backs discovery of oil in northeast of Nigeria, says he is supportive of any endeavour aimed at improving the economic fortunes of the country. Troops of Operation Forest Sanity neutralized 4 bandits in Chikun local government area of Kaduna during attack on terrorist hideouts. And protesters take to the streets of China asking President Xi Jinping and the Communist Party to resign over the country's COVID restrictions, blame them for the death of 10 in a fire accident. To other security matters now, crop farmers in Yobe State have been lamenting the incessant attacks on its members by herders, forcing them to abandon the remnants of their farm produce to save their lives after suffering losses resulting from this year's flood disaster. Our chairman of the Farmers Association in Gujba Local Government Council in the state told Channels Television that one person was killed and 15 others were injured while working on their farms in the last 4 weeks, as he calls on government to take proactive measures against escalation of the clashes.
The conflict between farmers and herders persists to the dismay of Nigerians and communities where these clashes are rampant. The latest incident between the farmers and herders occurred in Gujba Local Government Area Council in Yobe State, where two farmers called Usman Isa and Samaila Yahya were attacked while working on their farms. According to the chairman of the Farmers Association, one person was killed and 15 others injured in the attack. The Miete Allah Cattle Breeders Association, however, blames government for lack of proper cattle routes and water points.
Gwamnati ta yi gaggawa ta shiga wannan abun, ta kare manoma su ɗauki amfaninsu, saboda mu ba ma son tashi hankali, kuma noman nan in mun yi ba za mu ɗauki gona mu kawo gida ba. Illa iyaka mu ɗauki amfaninmu mu kawo, mu bar musu gonakansu su ci rani a ciki suna ci.
In dai har gaskiya ne manoma da makiya duk abu ɗaya ne, ya kamata a yi tsari. A yi tsari a son inda dabbobi za su zauna, inda makiya za su noma.
As part of its early recovery from conflict and resilience building in Yobe State, the European Union has organized a multi-stakeholder dialogue for farmers and herders in Gujba Local Government Council.
We have holding this activity with critical stakeholders to address the conflict issue that we have identified, not just in the state but in the local government, specifically Gujba local government. And that conflict is the conflict between the herders and the farmers in Gujba local government. We have brought in very critical stakeholders to dialogue on the conflict and to forge a way forward. As an organization, one of our strategies to achieving peace is dialogue. We expect that at the end of this workshop, stakeholders from Gujba and particularly from the communities affected by this conflict will be able to have a working document so that that is locally informed to maybe spell out how to resolve this conflict maybe before they escalate into violence, because this is an issue that lingers every year and especially after every farming season.
Gujba local government area was under the control of Boko Haram insurgents in 2014 and in 2016. Residents are worried another conflict in the form of clashes between farmers and herders will bring setbacks to the economy of the state.
Troops of Operation Forest Sanity have neutralized 4 bandits during clearance operations in identified hideouts around Soon Gayan village in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. According to the State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, the troops made contact and pursued the fleeing bandits and in the process killed 2 of the bandits, while credible intelligence revealed that 2 others died from gunshot wounds. He explained that 2 of the 4 neutralized bandits have been identified as Dogo Malam and Belo Malam. The troops also recovered 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 magazine with 22 rounds of ammunition and 1 motorcycle. Meanwhile, operatives of the intelligence response team of the Nigeria police have rearrested 2 inmates who escaped from the custodial center in Owerri during an attack on the facility by gunmen in April of 2021. The suspects, Okechukwu Edison and Sunday Morrison, were rearrested in Port Harcourt, River State, in an operation led by the commander of the IRT, Olatunji Disu, Deputy Commissioner of Police. A statement from the office of the IRT commander said the 2 escapees were arrested for allegedly masterminding the kidnapping of a female lawyer after their escape from the prison. The duo also allegedly took a ransom of 5 million naira after keeping their victim for several days. The statement further revealed that before escaping, both Edison and Morrison had spent 11 years in the correctional facility for offenses which include kidnapping, robbery, and car snatching. On April the 5th, 2021, over 1,884 inmates were said to have escaped after some armed group in vehicles carrying rocket-propelled grenades, machine guns, and rifles invaded the custodial center in Owerri using explosives. Well, the presidency says it's optimistic that it will be leaving a safer country at the end of its tenure. Well, the special advisor to the president on media, Mr. Femi Falano, argued that judging by what President Muhammadu Buhari has done with barely 6 months to the end of the administration, most of the country's security challenges will have been reduced significantly. The presidential spokesperson, however, warned that Nigeria, like most advanced nations in the world, will still have to stay alert due to the continuum nature of security.
No doubt about it.
Nigeria is safer now than when Muhammadu Buhari met it?
He will leave a safer country, no doubt about it. When he came in 2015, you couldn't be sure that Nigeria will exist in the next 1 month. As at 2015, what was happening was that nobody could confidently say that Nigeria will still be on the map of the world the following week, the following month, or the following year. But we saw that he came and he took the battle to the insurgents. When he came, insurgency was the main thing. And he took the battle to them. Then he became Hydra-headed. Banditry joined, kidnapping for ransom joined, cultism joined, separatist agitation joined. How many challenges can one administration really confront? That's the issue with the Buhari administration. It was from day one till now, it was one challenge, from one challenge to the other. No, but we also see some calm in the country now. You can't compare what we have today with what we had 6 months ago, 1 year ago. And in another 6 months. 6 months is enough time to finish what's on ground. And it's not unlikely.
So you're saying that this government will finish off the insecurity challenges in this country?
It's not unlikely.
No. I mean, give us a...
Security will always be a continuum in a country. America still has to be alert to security. Other countries of the world still have to be alert to security. You will never get to a time you will sit back and say, we are all sound, safe, and secure. No need to be at the alert again. No, you will never get to that point.
The SocioEconomic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has filed a suit at the ECOWAS court against the federal government for alleged failure to probe the operations of illegal oil pipelines between 2001 and 2022 to name and prosecute suspected perpetrators and to recover proceeds of crime. The suit, instituted by SERAP Chief Eric Duo of Goi community in Gokana local government area of River State and 15 other concerned Nigerians, follows recent reports of the discovery of at least 58 illegal oil pipelines used to steal the country's oil wealth. Now, the plaintiffs are asking for an order directing and compelling the federal government to immediately probe the reports of operations of illegal pipelines and oil theft, name and prosecute suspected perpetrators. SERAP and others in the suit are accusing the Buhari administration of failing to uphold its international legal obligations to ensure that the country's oil wealth is used solely for the benefit of the generality of Nigerians. Well, operations of drug syndicates have been disrupted yet again as operatives of the NDLEA, that's the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, busted a cocaine syndicate in Lagos following the arrest of a 56-year-old trafficker while delivering 400 grams of cocaine concealed in a pair of sandals en route to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. The arrest also led to the arrest of a popular recruitment officer of drug cartels. According to the NDLEA, a follow-up operation led to the seizure of 1.1 kilograms of cannabis concealed in bottles of body creams going to Dubai, and after investigation, the owner of the consignment was arrested in River State. In the same vein, operatives attached to NACO import shed in Lagos intercepted consolidated cargo from Johannesburg, South Africa, where 25 parcels of loud variant of cannabis weighing 5.5 kilograms were seized. The NDLEA officials have also arrested a notorious cripple in Ifo of Ogun State with 4 kilograms of psychotropic substance, while 36 bags weighing 570 kilograms of the same substance in a raid at a forest in Ogumakin town was also apprehended. Major seizures were also made in Ondo State at the Okiogun forest, as arrests were made and a total of 88 kilograms of cannabis confiscated. Also in Oyo State, operatives recovered 136.3 kilograms of cannabis, while in Sokoto, the operatives of the NDLEA recovered 84,000 pills of tramadol tablets from a suspect. And arrears just reaching in or just coming in, well, your multiple award-winning station, that's Channels Television, indeed has done it yet again, this time by clinching the Nigeria Media Merit Award for the Station of the Year for a record 15th time. Channels Television has indeed won the Nigeria Media Merit Award, winning for the Station of the Year for a record 15th time. Moving on now, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, that's the ICPC, has inaugurated the Whistleblowers Anti-Corruption Reporting Network in Enugu State to support the fight against corruption at the sub-national level. Now, the anti-corruption drive is aimed at advancing citizens' participation, community mobilization, and promotion of accountability. According to the director of the Whistleblower Network in Enugu, the agency will continue to prioritize the protection of whistleblowers irrespective of the pressures.
Officials from the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, their counterpart from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, National Orientation Agency and security agencies are at the Coal City Garden in Enugu State to witness the inauguration of the Whistleblowers Anti-Corruption Reporting Network, WARN, in the state. The initiative is a crusade against corruption to ensure that the menace is brought to the barest minimum. The state director for the network is calling on all, especially the youths, to get involved.
The Whistleblower Anti-Corruption Reporting Network is a friend of everybody who wants a better society. We therefore believe that with help of everyone here, the security agency, political office holder, government officials, the media, the civil society group, we shall work together to ensure we eliminate corruption from our society.
Although the president is yet to assent to the whistleblowers law, the state director of the ICPC assures of protection for whistleblowers.
There are some extant laws that offer some kind of protection to whistleblowers or some informants in given situations. Section 64, sub 1 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000, it gives copious provisions for the protection of informants and information received by the commission or its officers in the discharge of their statutory responsibilities. This information are not to be disclosed, neither the identity of the persons nor their addresses be disclosed to the public.
Other participating agencies add their voices to the call.
Whenever we see anything, fraud or anything, we will report to the EFCC or to the appropriate quarters, where they will now do what they're supposed to do. I'm saying that our arms are open for sensitization, for mobilization, for information or raising awareness to people to know everything they should know about whistleblowers.
The Commission is always willing to cooperate and partner with any agency, institution, civil society organization, and persons engaged in the pursuit of these goals that enhance the respect for and the enjoyment of human rights in Nigeria.
Whistleblowers Anti-Corruption Reporting Network is a not-for-profit organization with core values of integrity, patriotism, personal responsibility, human dignity, and participation. The body is optimistic that an expansive collaboration such as this will forestall the prevalence of corruption in the country.
The federal government has donated grains worth millions of naira to the Adamawa state government for distribution to those affected by the recent flood and other vulnerable groups in the state. The Director General of NEMA, while presenting the items to the Adamawa state government in Yola, says it's meant to assist in cushioning the effects of victims. He, however, assures residents that the federal government will continue through NEMA, will continue to provide the needed support to the victims of disasters across the country so that they can pick up the pieces of their lives and improve their livelihoods.
Personnel of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, are in Yola, the Adamawa state capital, to distribute relief materials to the victims of the recent flooding in the 12 local government areas of the state. The humanitarian agency also supports residents affected by terrorism and other forms of insecurity with relief materials.
The federal government decided to release these items, which includes 151 100.6 metric tons of maize, 100 metric tons of sorghum, and 62.5 metric tons of millet. These items are brought to Adamawa State so as to be distributed among the peoples affected by the insurgency and other different types of disasters in the state, being it flooding and the rest.
Newman Local Government Council is one of the areas affected by the flood, and the council chairman is appreciative of the federal government's intervention. The state's commissioner for Reconstruction, Rehabilitation, Reintegration and Human Services assures residents of efficient distribution of the items.
It's going to help the people in a very short time so that they can have food to eat. But we are still pleading with the federal government and other well-meaning Nigerians to come to our aid. And I want to let you know that Newman is the most affected local government among all the 21 local governments in Adamawa State, and we need more help. But since this one has come this way, we want to appreciate the federal government and NEMA for this step.
I can give you assurance that distribution of this and other relief that we've gotten has always been done successfully, and it has been reaching the targeted beneficiary. The challenge probably might be that it may not be adequate, but of course, no matter how little, it is distributed evenly according to people that are in it.
These relief materials are expected to help ameliorate the hardship experienced by residents from communities devastated by the recent flooding, as they anticipate that the Adamawa state government will be proactive in tackling the perennial flooding experienced in the state.
Meanwhile, the federal government, through the Victim Support Fund, has donated food and non-food items to over 10,000 victims of crisis in Yakwala, a community of Wukari local government area in Taraba State. This follows an escalated attack on the community which led to the death of 11 persons, including the traditional ruler of that community. The Victim Support Fund has also been mandated to reconstruct destroyed classrooms, medical facilities and milling centers in the community.
Yakwala is the latest community to witness insecurity in Taraba State. At least 11 persons have been confirmed dead alongside the traditional ruler of the community. Schools, health facilities as well as residential buildings were not spared by the assailants.
We people of Yakwala, we are peaceful people. We don't know what happened. Just in the night, then we started hearing shooting, guns everywhere around the corner. We called security men. They could not come to our rescue.
The federal government, through the Victim Support Fund, is here to provide succor to the affected residents. The government plans to reconstruct parts of the school and provide some equipment for the residents to sustain their livelihood.
This is a 300 million naira project that is going to benefit 10,000 people in this community. That 300 million naira is broken down into what you can see here. For example, so this is the rice. This is what we're going to, it's going to, by the time it's completed, it's going to be named the T.Y. Danjuma Industrial Rice and Maize Milling Factory here in Yakwala. It has a 10 tons capacity per day of rice production. It's also going to have a maize production facility. It also has a gari processing facility because there are a lot of cassava farmers here in Yakwala, as you can see. We have a fish pond to the left side, and we've done, the geophysical survey of that land to ensure that we're reaching the aquiferous level. It's an earthen pond so that I can feed, from water within the community.
Appreciative of the gesture, the Taraba state government laments the escalating crisis while promising to monitor the project to ensure its sustainability.
Fortunately for us in Taraba State, most of the issues that give rise to insecurity are not internally generated. It's people coming from outside that come and cause a lot of problems for us here. But as it is now, a lot of things have happened. The state government has done a lot of things to make sure that people coexist peacefully.
Taraba state government is hoping that more donors will extend similar gesture to the state to provide succor for victims of the crisis.
Still in Taraba and talking health now, the state government is partnering the Ugandan and Cameroonian governments to address the growing trends of mental health in Nigeria through training of medical personnel in government health facilities across the country. The program to train 5,000 health workers in Nigeria, holding in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital. Stakeholders say the target is to develop Africa as a continent through psychotherapy to fight stigmatization.
On this line, 80% of Nigeria's employees have an increased risk of falling into depression, according to the World Health Organization. And this makes Nigeria the country with the highest caseload of depression in Africa. This is also made worse by the low numbers of psychiatrists in the country, a fallout of increased brain drain over the years. To tackle this challenge, along with the stigmatization associated with mental health problems, the Taraba state government is partnering with the governments of Uganda and Cameroon to train health workers on how to handle mental health issues among civil servants.
What we want to achieve at the end of the day is to make sure that we bring the knowledge of mental health to all our populace, all our people in Taraba and in Nigeria. Let us know that, okay, there is a challenge, there is mental health, and it is not something to be stigmatized against.
The target is to train 5,000 health workers in Nigeria's primary, secondary, and tertiary health institutions who are expected to pay it forward.
The idea about this training is to create mental health-oriented health workers in our government health facilities so that they can recognize the common mental health problems and be able to respond with first-line interventions.
The Association of Psychiatrists in Nigeria says psychiatrists in the country have reduced from around 300 in 2021 to just 200 in October of 2022.
I'm happy that we are bringing a lot of a lot of health workers here, to learn about mental health, so that they will know how to attend to patients, or also know how to attend to ourselves, because we also need to be mentally healthy to be able to attend somebody who has mental health challenge.
Stakeholders at this workshop are calling on governments at all levels to make improved investments in the health sector to ensure professions like psychiatry are allowed to thrive.
The International Convention Center in Awka, Anambra State, witnessed a convergence of creative, innovative, and technologically enhanced inventors as the Senate Committee on Science and Technology hosts a National Innovation Workshop for the year 2022. The Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, says supporting local innovation will help to unlock the economic potential of the country, while the chairman of the committee, Senator Uche Ekwunife, notes that the workshop will foster the culture of creativity in Nigeria.
It's a two-day National Innovation Workshop organized by the Senate Committee on Science and Technology at the International Convention Center, Awka, in Anambra State. The event brings together researchers, innovators, and inventors who display their scientific and technological prowess. Even secondary school students are not left out. The State Governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Science and Technology, Senator Uche Ekwunife, among others, are here to witness the exercise.
The purpose of this workshop is to connect researchers, innovators, and inventors across Nigeria who share in the passion to create technological solutions to the myriad of socioeconomic problems bedeviling our nation in order to transform the ACI sector into a viable and a result-oriented sector.
The keynote speaker and former Senate President Anyim Pius Anyim notes the impact of technological revolution in the society.
We must be engaged with the urgent need to draw attention to and prepare our country for the effect of the new wave of scientific innovations and inventions in the second quarter of the 21st century. The dimension and speed of this sweeping revolution leaves no room for government facilitation. Rather, government now scampers to make itself relevant.
Governor Soludo says one of the best ways to promote science, technology, and innovation is by supporting indigenous inventions and creativity.
The most important thing that we can do to promote innovation and research, innovation, invention, the most important thing we can do as citizens, as governments is to do what? Patronize them.
The Minister of State for Science and Technology, who is representing the Vice President, believes innovation is key to national development.
As you are aware, the Office of Vice President has been championing the adoption of innovative technology as key tool to accelerate socio-economic development in Nigeria.
Science, technology, innovation. Afterwards, it's time for awards presentation and tour of exhibition stands. Part of the highlight of the event is the technical session, where experts interact with the innovators over areas of legislative support, funding, and intellectual property rights, as the workshop is expected to help drive economic growth.
Right, back to our breaking story, and indeed to some cheery news, where we did tell you that your multiple award-winning station Channels Television has now won the Nigeria Media Merit Award Television Station of the Year for a record 15th time. Yes, that's 15 times of being adjudged the best television station in Nigeria by the judges. Well, the announcement was made this evening at the 30th edition of the Nigeria Media Merit Award in Lagos.
And the winner is...
Can I do this, please, lady?
Yes, please.
And the winner is... And I'm going to be stammering for a while. And the winner is... And the winner is... I can't hear you. Aha! I tell you now. The winner is Channels Television. And this is an NBC prize.
Let me use this opportunity to lend my voice to the appeal of well-meaning compatriots to the media on the need to exercise a high level of professionalism and commitment to the ethics of this great profession, especially as the 2023 general elections draw near, which you are all participants in one form or the other. Even as the media holds a powerful institution to account, you must also reserve some of this scrutiny for yourselves and ensure that there is no room for bad eggs and those who seek to bring this noble reputation into disrepute. The times we are in call, this time we are in call for great circumspection and great fidelity to the timeless principles of journalism. Accuracy is critical, fairness at all times, balanced reporting, integrity and imagine is critical at all times. Your standards must never be lowered for anything, and definitely not in this age in which social media and internet has enabled the easy amplification of fake news and malicious reports, hate speeches that are intended to give undue political advantage or to divide our society or even derail this our democracy. And I think it's appropriate that we charge all of you, and we charge all of us, that this is a clarion call and it's something that everybody, a politician, a non-politician, a journalist, must take very, very seriously.
A big congratulations to the management and staff of Channels Television. And now to the arts. Stride is a solo exhibition by contemporary artist Said Adelakun at the My Dream Gallery in Lagos. This artist uses his amazing technique and style to create about 20 paintings that emphasize the beauty of culture and tradition. We see that on Art Review tonight.
Gather for the maiden solo exhibition of contemporary artist Said Adelakun, who plays with ropes in this show titled Stride at the My Dream Gallery in Lagos. A dream come through, as it has been in the works for many years.
The reason for Stride is because I have been on this project, a long-time project, and all the process, the patient, everything together with my surname, meaning because the medium that I use have to do with my surname, the rope. The name Adelakun does not have to do with crown. It has to do with rope. And for me to use rope to achieve all these works, I need so much than just talent. I need perseverance, I need patience, I need so much commitment. And I've been planning for this exhibition for 13 years. I come out every weekend for different exhibitions, but people have not really seen me showing.
With texture and form, this artist is able to achieve the many images displayed in this exhibition hall, but he admits that it took many sleepless nights to create these 32 paintings.
I've been doing something that people do not see. I've been working tirelessly day and night for 13 years now in order to have one single solo exhibition, and I don't have to explain myself how long it takes to put all these works together through a tiny strand of rope. So the Adelako in this contest has I say my rope is used as a symbol of strength in unity. Take a single strand of rope. If you have something stronger, you could cut it off. But when you have like few together, it becomes very strong. And by the time I put them together, I first of all make something I call hiding forms of nature. That is the art that you enjoy under my art. Because the art itself, the rope itself is art. It's an abstract because there are different geometric shapes according to what I wanted to show. So on top of it, I now have two subjects that have to do with Africanism.
Stride, the graduate of Yaba College of Technology, uses rope to show his strong connection to cultural ties and wants the audience to emulate this and take pride in tradition.
And outside our shores, protesters in China have been venting public anger over the country's COVID restrictions, which they say led to the death of 10 people in a fire in a 10-story building in Urumqi. Thousands of people turned out in Shanghai and in other major cities. People have also been calling for President Xi Jinping of the Communist Party to resign.
The residents of Shanghai confronted police and sang the Chinese national anthem. The wave of disobedience, which has spread to other cities, including the capital Beijing, is unprecedented in mainland China since President Xi Jinping assumed power a decade ago and comes amid mounting frustration over his signature zero-COVID policy. China has spent nearly 3 years living with some of the strictest COVID curves in the world. On Saturday, protesters called for President Xi to step down. As a large group of police looked on, the crowd held up blank sheets of paper as symbols against censorship. Later, they shouted, "Let's lock down for Urumqi, let's lock down for Xinjiang, let's lock down for all of China." Vigils held in a few cities, even as far as in Australia, where dozens of Australians and international students held a candlelight vigil in Sydney for victims of the deadly fire.
It's crazy. I think first it's because of the Xi Jinping, the president. We should end his dictatorship because he only care about he only care about himself, his dictatorship. So this is why many people died of him. So, but now it's a good news. Is many people getting to realize the president is illegal.
The fire on Thursday that killed 10 people in a high-rise building in Urumqi, capital of Xinjiang regions, has sparked public anger. Many internet users surmised that residents could not escape in time because the building was partially locked. The fire fueled a wave of civil disobedience in mainland China. Beijing is adhering to a zero-COVID policy even while much of the world tries to coexist with the coronavirus. While low by global standards, China's cases have hit record highs for days, with nearly 40,000 new infections reported on Sunday for the previous day.
Ukraine's Prosecutor General says Russian attacks on the country's energy infrastructure amount to genocide, further saying the strikes on key facilities targeted the full Ukrainian nation and were an effort to force Kiev to surrender. The term genocide refers to an effort to wipe out a group of people. Russia, however, denies having any such aim. Millions of people across Ukraine are facing power cuts and freezing weather following sustained Russian attacks. Efforts are ongoing to reconnect homes cut off from electricity. Well, officials say Kherson has now been fully resupplied following the city's recapture by Ukrainian troops earlier this month. Welcome to Sports News. Germany snatched a 1-1 draw with Spain in a crunch World Cup Group E fixture when Nicolas Füllkrug lashed home an 83rd minute equaliser this evening. Alvaro Morata's deft touch from Jordi Alba's cross had put Spain ahead just after the hour mark before Füllkrug's goal allowed Germany to maintain hope of qualifying from a tight group. Spain topped the standings with 4 points and now need only a draw in their final Group E game against Japan to progress. Germany, who lost 2-1 in their opener against Japan, are bottom of the table on 1 point, and they need to win against Costa Rica on Thursday, and their hopes then depend on Japan losing. Croatia got their World Cup campaign back on track as Andre Kramarić's double inspired a 4-1 victory that eliminated Canada in Group F in a grudge match played in Doha. Zlatko David's side were stunned by Alphonso Davies' second-minute opener at the Khalifa International Stadium. Both Hoffenheim forward Kramarić equalized and Marko Livaja put the 2018 World Cup runners-up ahead just before halftime. A second-half goals from Kramarić and Lavro Maja ensured Croatia could celebrate their first win of the tournament after a goalless draw with Morocco in their first match. A clash has erupted in Brussels earlier today after Morocco stunned Belgium 2-0 at the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. The supporters lit fires on the streets and threw missiles at police. About 100 officers in riot gear used tear gas and water cannons to disperse the rioters. Authorities have asked the public to avoid the central Brussels area, and several metro stations, bus and tram lines have also been shut down. Ghana coach Otto Addo is looking forward to renewing a long-standing relationship with South Korea's Son Heung-min when the teams clash at the World Cup on Monday. Ghana, who lost their opening game to Portugal, are seeking their first points in Group H against the Koreans, who kicked off with a 0-0 draw against Uruguay, and well aware of the threat Son will pose at Al Rayyan's Education City Stadium. Coach Addo says Ghana had been unlucky to lose to Portugal, but also apologized for his post-match criticism of the referee. And the main news again. Senator Ademola Adeleke was today sworn in as the 6th executive governor of Osho State. Well, the governor started by making some major executive directives, including reversal of state name, freezing of state accounts, and setting up of a panel to review appointments made by the immediate past administration after July the 17th. We also told you that your multiple award-winning station, Channels Television, today clinched the Nigeria Media Merit Award for the Station of the Year for a record 15th time. And troops of Operation Forest Sanity neutralized 4 bandits in Chikun local government area of Kaduna during attack on terrorist hideouts. We also told you the protests have taken to the streets of China, asking President Xi Jinping and the Communist Party to resign over the country's COVID restrictions and blaming them for the death of 10 in a fire accident. And that's the news at 10. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Have a good night.